Hey fellas, your commissioner here, coming at you for a little week four of NFL action. Start off as we always do here, Hogs. Another 3-point loss to LSU. Lost 34-31. Um, just I guess it's good. The team showed some heart and some grit there, bouncing back after a disappointing loss at home to BYU. But you know what? I don't really give a shit. All right, I'm about sick and tired of these moral victories. Oh well, we played really hard. We hung in with the top 15 team in their place at night, a tough place to play. I mean, bullshit. All right, I'm tired of this. All right, Pittman, great guy, seems like a very, very nice guy. Be a fucking guidance counselor, okay? You seem like a great person. It would be great for that role because the coaching's just not good enough. It's not. I mean, it just mistake after mistake. It's been the theme all season, I feel like, so far. We had, third and one at the one, and have to come away with the field goal. I might be getting that mixed up with another game. I'm pretty sure that was this game. So many false starts, just timely, costly penalties, and then still somehow, some way, we were in it. I mean, you cut that out, we win by at least double digits, And I don't know. I mean, it's just that's the way LSU always goes. The play down to the level of competition, of course. We have good players, we do. It's just it's a little disheartening. 2-2 and. I don't know. It stinks. I don't care about competing against teams. I don't. We lose by 3. We lose by 30. I guess it was a pretty good game to watch, I guess. But it's. I want to see wins, damn it. I want to win. Doesn't everybody? Everybody wants to win, And right now it's just not good enough. So. Whatever, who knows? Long season left, of course, so we'll see if we can't turn the ship around. So, anyways, let's go ahead here. We're only 2.5 weeks out from the wedding of the century. Can't believe it's almost here. So we are putting the final touches on things. Got our follow-up alcohol meeting to make that purchase on Friday, so that'll be a big one. It's the only one I really care about spending money on. But got some more bills to pay this Friday as well for a couple other things, and so your league fees are being put to good use. I'll just say that. All right, it'll be reinvested in some shape or fashion. So, anyways, let's go ahead here and get into a recap of last week's games. Week 3. Start off here with our lemon juice. I still haven't thrown this away. It's still right here. Game of the week between, was it the Dirty Birds and Razorback Revival? I want to say it wasn't it? No. Yes. No. Yes. Was it? But Montgomery's hurt. Definitely. Shades projected to win 132-108, and versus Lamar Jackson. Yeah, it was. Wow. What a slaughter. Not only, I think this is back-to-back weeks now. A team in the game of the week has been the dog shit, throwing up blood, limp wrist, bad ankles, bad knees, a little bit of, where to go? Team of the week. And your assistant to the commissioner, Razorback Revival. And, I want to rip into Nick's team, but to be quite honest, I just feel kind of bad for the guy. He loses 161-83. 80-point difference there almost, about 78 points. And Nick's team just makes me sad to look at. It really does. I mean, there's just very little to get excited for, very little hope. The early returns from his trade, not great. Thought it was a very interesting, very questionable trade when it went down. And granted, Kyle Pitts did have the best game he's had so far this season. That resulted in 8.5 points. His other acquisition, Travis Etienne, did look very good. I will say that. Of course, Christian Watson didn't play. Lawrence just looked pretty mid, kind of like how he's looked all year, mid to bad. Herbert looked pretty good, So, Gus did get hurt, but, whenever you're breaking down that trade, and Mark Andrews looked pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know. 83 points from Nick. Of course, he didn't have Waddle. But, he's, hold on once. It's allergy season, That's really kicking my ass today, I tell you. I'm not going to mess with muting the mic. You can hear raw and filtered commish because I'm not trying to get halfway through this and realize that I have no sound. So, Kidre Miller's debut, not good. Actually, he didn't have Waddle. Until the Jets get a quarterback, Garrett's ceiling is going to be extremely limited. Derrick Henry looks like a shell of himself. He looks like he's maybe hit that cliff. He's maybe hitting that cliff. So only 2 points. And granted, Cleveland has probably the best defense in the NFL right now. They have just enforced their will on teams through the first 3 weeks of the season. Maybe take a little grain of salt, but 2 points, 20 yards, not good. Tajay Spears is getting a ton of work. I'd be a little bit concerned if I was Nicholas. And for Plunk, congrats. He finally got a win that he deserves. That makes the first time this season, despite his 3-0 record. I was having a little discussion today with another owner who, thinks that Plunk is a top 3 team pretty easily. I say not so fast. I'm not quite as convinced, despite the high point total this week. The highest point total, granted, hats off, the highest point total of any team this week. Lamar is looking like he's maybe back to form. Zach Moss, though, the 20-point explosions that he's been having, it's not sustainable, right? It's not. It can't be. It can't be. Jamar looked like he got back on track. Keenan just been exploding. Pittman, solid game. And then you get to the tight end and the flex. That's where you get a little concerned, right? That's where you get a little concerned because if JT comes back, doesn't get traded, Moss's value is 0. It's 0. He won't play. No matter how good he's been playing, it won't matter. Kenny Gainwell, great week 1. Gets hurt. Swift has a great game. It's Swift's backfield now for all of eternity, right? He inevitably probably gets hurt, right? But Drake London, he's not the answer. He's got a good trio: Jamar, Keenan, Pittman, great. Cook is, underwhelming as your RB1, but solid, very solid. He's been good the first 3 weeks. No, he really needs a tight end. Ertz is not going to be that guy. And we'll see how A-Chain's production is. Because, the rest of his bench is garbage. It's just garbage. Charbonnet's not good. Bateman sucks. He's hurt again. Shocker. He gets hurt every damn year. Zay Jones, mid. Rico Dowdle, Sean Tucker. I don't know why he's still holding on to Evan Hull. Granted, he doesn't have anybody else to put in the IR, but he's out for the year. You're certainly not going to keep Evan Hull. Did he draft him? No, he picked him up as a free agent. So I cut him. You're not going to keep him as a free. Nobody keeps free agent keepers anymore. I think it's happened. Last time it happened was maybe 3 years ago, maybe even longer than that. There's just no value in it compared to keeping players in the draft. There's just no value in it. So, congrats to Connor. Whatever, 3-0. I don't think he's quite deserving of it. He could just as easily be 1-2. but he's gotten lucky. I mean, he had a team score 50 points against him and a team score 100 points against him, and now 83 points against him. So I think he maybe has the lowest points against in the league. Let me check that. Let's get a price check. Yeah, by a lot. By 60 points. By 60 points. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. Whatever. I mean, conversely, Nick has the most points against him by a good 45 points. Yep, 45 points. I mean, to have him fall to 0-3. Now, granted, Nick's not scoring, right? He is the third lowest point total on the season. Versus Connor has the. No, he sure didn't pass me. He is the third highest by. He's tied for third, we'll say, in points on the week or on the season rather. Still chasing that horse ass, leading out in front early on. Which that'll segue into our next matchup here, right? The horse ass versus the McCockners. A little bit of a trap game, of course. Huge. I mean, whenever both teams are 1-1, to be able to get that to 2-1 versus 1-2, it's monumental. It's a monumental win early in the season. It can help twist and mold and shape your season as you go forward. I win 151 to 101. Solid effort from JD, I think. I knew Kirk was going to have a good game. He made the right decision benching Burrow for him. I mean, Burrow had 10 points. Kirk had 32. He's very worried in that early slate. None to Madison, none to Hawkinson. I was concerned by him, and pretty much all of his players were in the afternoon window. But Judy had an okay game. DJ Moore, were they the late slate? I think they were, yeah. I was feeling good early. Obviously, the Dolphins stack. I mean, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, allergies. My Dolphins stack between Tua and Tyreek is working out better than I could have even hoped, could have even dreamed of. There's power in having a quarterback and a wide receiver on your team together, because if the quarterback's scoring or throwing to your wide receiver, it's double the points. I mean, it's just simple math, guys. It's simple math, right? Would you want 1x points or would you want 2x points? 1 great, less than 2, right? So that's all it is, guys. That's all this game is, right? The inches we need are all around us, right? The Dolphins, they're everywhere. Right? Honorary Dolphin calls. I'm this close to changing my team to the Dolphin ass, but, I won't do that. I am the horse ass. It needs to be well known throughout the entire season. Next season, we will reassess. But yeah, I mean, Monster, at Madison had a very good game as well. 2-2, great game. A lot of targets on Monday night. Sam Laporta's emergence is upon us. Rolled the dice on him. He worked out. Shaheed got a little cute, played him. Packers top 5D. I should have known. But he had a 72-yard punt return touchdown to keep him from putting up a gooser. But I mean, because he had Tank and Dubs on. I'm going to play Dubs maybe next week or this week, and he's going to get 5 points again. He's the 2 weeks I haven't played him, he's 18 and 19 points respectively, I think. And then the 1 week I did play him, he scored like 5 points. So, but yeah, I mean, the team's looking good. The team's looking good early on. I like what I'm seeing. James Conner dominated against a tough run defense and Dallas. Brother, what are you doing? You can't get up there. You trying to get in the video that bad? Loki. Brody. Come here, Brody. Come here. Come here. Oh, come on. Oh, good job. There's Brody. He's due for a haircut pretty soon. Careful. You're on my sash. Stop. So, yep, there he is. Okay, you're freaking out. Get out. All right. Anyway, this is off the rails. This State of the Union. I don't know what's going on. All right, yeah, blame it on the Zyrtec. Am I right? Yeah, I mean, just monster games, and JD's team just let him down. Right, he's still got some good players. I still think he has some hope for the season. He's not going to go 4-10 like he did last year with this team. I don't believe. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough season for him, I think. So he's going to be fighting for scrapping to try to get in the playoffs. So anyway, I'm 2-1. JD falls to 1-2. Next here, moving along, we got the Kickers Lives Matters triumphing 122-116 over the Swamp Donkeys. Blaine had a valiant effort on Monday night trying to scratch and claw and fight his way back in to the game to get a steal and win from out from under Duncan on Monday night. A.J. Brown had 22 points, dropped 2 touchdowns, would have been the difference. Mike Evans had a very good game as well. Puka, goes down at like the 3-yard line. I mean, gets touchdown before he could. I mean, wide open. I mean, terrible throw by Stafford. He was wide open. Could have walked into the end zone. Bad ball from Stafford. Falls down. Gets touchdown at the 3. Again, that one would have also given Blaine the win. It would have been very, very close. I mean, he would have been like a couple tenths of points ahead had that worked out. But yeah, I mean, Blaine, not a deep team, but got deeper this week. He's getting Kamara back from suspension. QJ is supposed to have an expanded role with the Mike Williams injury. Gibbs has looked a little underwhelming since that. He's been okay, right? Not great. He really needs Kamara to be that elite top 5 guy that he used to be. But Josh, good game from him. Puka, bad game. I mean, one of his worst games, he still had 12 points. You get 12 points out of your flex, you're going to be all right. Him, like many teams in this league, struggling to find out a good tight end to play. It's tough out there, guys. If you don't, I feel sorry, if some, couldn't be me, right? I mean, couldn't be me, Hawkinson and Laporta. Spoiler riches. Ideally I want a running back for one of those guys, but I'll take a good wide receiver too for either one of them. So just come talk to me. But hey, this isn't about me. We already talked about my team. And for Duncan, obviously I don't want to spend all the time talking about the team who lost. Duncan, Deshaun has looked pretty good. Pretty good here, 25 points. Granted, he played the Titans, who are a pass funnel team. They're trying to load up and stop the run, and they did a very good job of that. And I think Deshaun took advantage of that, as he's known to do, allegedly. But B-Rob, a little bit of a disappointment. Pacheco looked like he's kind of back, healthy, taking charge of that running back room. JJ, incredible. He's just an incredible player. Best wide receiver in the league. It's not close. Lockett came back down to reality. Christian Kirk looks like he's squeaky wheel gets the grease there 2 weeks in a row. Kittle looks like he's starting to come on. And, Najee, he stinks. But Eckler should be coming back for Duncan. He's got Sutton, who's honestly looked, very good. I mean, this season. I mean, he's double digits in all 3 games. He's got Tajay Spears, who could eventually steal Derrick Henry's job. Just kidding, he won't do that. But he's got Eckler and Sutton on the bench. Not much else after that, but it's certainly better because you don't want to have to be relying on Najee Harris to be in your lineup hardly ever. But he's a very thin team, just like a lot of teams. He's a very thin team. You get a couple injuries. I mean, you see with Eckler, which honestly, credit to him for withstanding these last 2 weeks. Without Eckler, of course, he did lose last week. But 125 points last week. You kind of throw out week 1 when everybody did shit, but he still broke 100 points in week 1. And now week 3, another 122 points. I mean, very solid. I mean, 120 points. Of course, you didn't get him the win last week, but if you can just keep pumping out those numbers, I mean, you're gonna win 8 games, 9 games maybe. I mean, if you can average that on the season. So, very, Duncan's 2-1. Blaine falls to 1-2. I don't really love his team outside of Justin Jefferson. It's really the only player I really like, but they just play hard together. They're just a good team, the Kickers, right? And sometimes that the sum of the parts is greater, or the sum of the parts is greater than the individuals, whatever it is. The sum of the whole is greater than the individual parts. I think that's what it is. So they mesh, right? They mesh well. So next here we got Cataclysmic Catches just laying up. The Battle of the Bella Vista Bandits. And boy, was it a blowout. Doesn't contribute, is back on his bullshit, doesn't score points. 90 points for, granted, up from last week's 82, but down from his week 1's 124. Wonder which one's kind of looking like the outlier there now, right? Kind of makes you wonder, right? So kind of like a little bit of a plunkster, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, credit to Wilson. His team looked just dead in the water. To be honest, at 0-2. Got the worst draft grade. I just didn't expect this. Did not expect 153 outburst to be possible from this team. So how'd he do it? Kamish? Well, Adam Thielen turned back the clock. He had 31 points. Devontae Adams, a monster game. 42, just demolished that Steelers defense. Mahomes looks like he is locked in and loaded. 30 points. Swift's emergence has been huge for Wilson. 15 points out of him. But, right? There's always a but. Depth is a concern. More than probably any team in the league. Okay? And you can't expect Devontae Adams to score 40 points every week. You sure as shit can't expect Adam Thielen to score 30 points every week. And, the second running back is worrisome. Khalil's not looked very good. Doesn't really have anybody else there to put in other than JT when he's inevitably back, if he's back. Tight end's fine. Evan Ingram, he's fine. But yeah, I mean, Kendrick Bourne 8.6. DeAndre Hopkins is just, I mean, he plays for the Titans. The Titans are, they don't pass. I mean, Arthur Smith left town, but he is still there in spirit. I can promise you that when it comes to the passing attack in Nashville. Okay, so and then Craig, he tried to play the waiver wire. He missed out on missed out on Cousins. 15 points out of Stafford. Jacobs 11 points. Stevenson's been kind of, just okay. Not a great game from him last week, but tough Jets defense. Chalk it up to that. DK's good. Zay's good. John Dotson stinks. Freiermuth looked like he got a tutty. Kyrie Williams, my crystal ball was fucking humming last week. I was wrong on the carry count. I should have known. I mean, 5 carries, that's crazy. You would have had to get hurt to have 5 carries. And 5 for 40 is actually very good yards per carry. He had 10 carries for 38 yards. I said he was going to have 5 carries for 40. All right? You could just see this shit. You've been playing. We've all been playing for too long. You can see the writing on the wall, right? It was obvious that a letdown as soon as he finally played him, less than double digits, it was bound to happen. Jacoby will be in his lineup the rest of the season, of course. I mean, he looks like the real deal. Ayuk will be back this week. So, brighter days ahead for Craig. I mean, those 4 wide receivers, Ayuk, Jacoby, Zay Flowers, DK Metcalf, that's going to be great. I mean, that's a great quartet. It might be one of the best quartets in the league, to be honest, as a whole, right? And he just needs more solid production out of Ramondre and Jacobs. But he's got to figure out something at quarterback. He's just got to figure something out. there. So he's lost 2 in a row. He's now 1-2. Wilson jumps up to 1-2 as well with his first win of the season. Next here, the highest scoring matchup of the season so far, I believe. Suave Olave wins 146-132 against the Father Figures. Savoy moves to 3-0, one of 3 3-0 teams. Ford falls to 1-2. Great early returns from that trade. Andrews did not have as good of games as I thought, only 7.5 points. Gus, 5 points, got hurt. But Herbert, 35 points. Love to see that. Mostert, of course, was the big story here. Really inflated Savoy's numbers with 4 total touchdowns, 45 points out of Mostert. I mean, he just keeps proving me wrong. I'll be damned. He's basically only got Raheem, which maybe that keeps up. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But the Dolphins' offense is surely going to get figured out eventually, right? Surely, But looked pretty damn good on Sunday. I'll tell you that. C.J. Stroud looks very good. I mean, he's got 2 great quarterbacks. Honestly, he probably needs to try to flip one, especially after Herbert's bye in Week 5. I would be cautious of that, people. I can guarantee you that he's probably going to be shopping Stroud come Week 6 to maybe Craig or maybe Ford, some of these guys who need a quarterback, and try to bolster his roster. If he wasn't thinking that, he should. You're welcome for the idea. That one's free. Okay, you're welcome. But Aaron Jones should be coming back this week, maybe. So you got AJ and Mostert there at your 1-2 for running back, and you can string things together with Diggs. I mean, Diggs and Olave is a hell of a 1-2 punch. It's a hell of a 1-2 punch. Maybe the best 1-2 punch in the league as it stands right now today. A couple weeks from now, maybe there's somebody different. Time will tell. Maybe Week 10, right? Maybe it'll be different Week 10, right? So, but yeah, I mean, just solid overall performance, and you got to feel for Ford. I mean, putting up 132 certainly deserves a win. But honestly, he would have lost to a lot of other teams this week. He would have lost to me. He would have lost to Wilson. He lost to Savoy. He would have lost to Plunk. I mean, there's 4 teams right there that he would have lost to. He was only the 5th highest scoring team on the week. And he just happened to run up against one of the top 4, So, but, Wilson, Russell, he's 6 on the season so far as quarterback, but good game against. You should have a good game against Chicago, of course. I mean, quarterbacks, whatever. We'll get to that. But Kenny, great game, 30 points. Bijan, his worst game of the year, only 10 points from him, but he's still a stud. He's still such a beast. Amari, great game. Hollywood's looked good. Pickens, solid. Mixon, solid game. Not a lot on the bench there, but we'll see. He's got Jordan Love, too. Wow. Jordan Love just keeps producing. I just don't get it. I just don't know how. I really don't know how. He put up 259. That's his highest yardage total on the season so far, and he's had 25 points in every game. Nuts. And he's not even running the ball either, really. I mean, whatever. So I think Ford's going to be fine. I mean, he's 1-2, but he is a solid team. And Savoy, I think, is he's legit as well. He's built for some runs here. I think he could go on. So depth again concerning, but that's for a lot of people. So injuries can screw a team over just like that, just like a Thanos snap, right? So next here, our last matchup here to recap. Let me make sure I got everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Okay. Last matchup. Can you feel the love in Shea Dynasty? And boy, can you feel for Rip? 86.75 points. Loses 121 to D-Shades. D-Shades 121 total. Had a good week last week. Rip did at 127. Didn't get a win. Responds this week. Bro, stop pulling on my pants, my guy. You got to get your claws clipped, buddy. A great, solid point total for Shade. I don't think he's disappointed in a single game all season. 104 was his low mark on the week one, but you got to throw, like I said, throw week one out. That was historically low scoring, historically bad for pretty much every team that wasn't named horse ass. But 133 last week, 121 this week. He started Dak. Dak stinks, but he still got 18 points. It's not going to kill you, right? McCaffrey's a stud. Pollard's stud. Ridley's hit a little bit of a wall. Of course, the big news here for Deshade is he loses Mike Williams, right? He loses Mike Williams out for the year, and just kind of like I talked about, hey, you don't wish injuries on him, but I didn't wish injuries. I want that clear for the record, okay? I did not wish injuries on Deshade's team, okay? What I did is I said if one or two of these guys goes down, it's going to be very difficult for him. It's going to be very difficult for him, and I think that's true. Josh Kelly stinks. He's going to go back to being irrelevant. He's going to be forced to throw Jordan Addison in as his wide receiver 3, and who's he going to play at his flex, right? Who's he going to play at his flex? He's going to play Zeke. He's going to play Sky Moore. Hope he gets lucky, right? I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. He's 3-0, of course. You love that. You would love to be 3-0. Any team would love to be 3-0. But a little nervous. And for Rip, man, he just, he can't catch a break. Breece Hall had a great week one. Has done nothing since. Debo's kind of the lone bright spot on his team. He needs Saquon back, of course. Saquon looks like he might be back this week, maybe another week. We'll see. He is a freak of nature. Hurts had a solid game, 25 points. But Godwin, not look great this year. Not look great. 10 points, 8 points. That's fine at a flex, but this is your wide receiver 3, It's just not good enough, right? A.J. Dillon, not that guy. He's just not him, so I don't know. Gallup, fine. Hunt's already hurt, already pulled a muscle. A couple of them, I think. Just not a lot to get excited about by that bench. So, yeah, Rip's 0-3 as well. One of 2 0-3 teams. 3 3-0 teams. 2 teams are 0-3. 2 teams are 2-1, and then everybody else is 1-2. So, but yeah, congrats to Deshade. You're 3-0. Great, good for you. All right, so waivers here. Waiver report. Big one. Josh Palmer, of course, with the Mike Williams injury. 44 fab to Mr. Savoy. Suave Olave. Palmer certainly looked good whenever Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were out last year. We'll see how he works with Quentin Johnston in town. We'll see. Johnston in town, excuse me. But a lot of people were in on Josh today, of course. He was the star belle of the ball. He had 44 was a winning bid to Savoy. Shade was in for 37. Nick was in for 29. Duncan was in for 19. McCockners were in for 11. Horseass was in for 10. Dirty Birds were in for 7. And I think that was it. So, yeah, half the league was in on Palmer. Next highest bid here player was Shade picked up Tyler Boyd for 16 fab. I love that ESPN did this waiver report. Long overdue. The reason I've skipped through waiver wire reports in the past and kind of glossed over them is because it's on. I got to get on my laptop. I got to do this and that. I just didn't want to deal with it. Right? I didn't want to deal with it. So Boyd, I don't think a single other person was in on Tyler Boyd. I had one in for 3 on him. I think I canceled that. I did. So way overbid there, but hey, got to get your guy. Swamp Donkeys, Luke Musgrave. A lot of people in on Musgrave. Blaine picked him up, trying to solve that tight end riddle as so many others are, as was noted in the waiver summary. Gets him for 13. Sniper. This is what you'd love to see. This is what you love to see whenever you put in a bid on a player, to beat the next closest guy by a single dollar. Love to see that. Great job, Blaine. Snipes, Razorback Revival, who put in a $12 bid for Luke Musgrave. And then actually somehow he put in a $12 bid and an $11 bid. I guess he had two different players to drop potentially. Plunk was also in for 11, so dialed in. Blaine was dialed in with that bid. Love to see that. Who else was in on Musgrave? McCockners were in for $2. Next one here was Calvin Austin for 7. Nobody else was in on him, I don't believe. I like that. I think it's a good solid pickup. I mean, Deontay's out for another couple weeks, and then they have their bye week 6, so earliest he could be back is week 7. So, I mean, it's 2 weeks to try to get some production. DJ Chark for $7 to Plunk. Drop Bateman, RIP. Sniped out Rip by who put in a $4 bid on him. Willie picked up Donald Parham, number 6 tight end on the year so far. I mean, he had two catches, 4 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. Wonder if that's going to be sustainable for 4 fab, but hey, what the hell. Plunk failed on Wan'Dale Robinson just because his roster was full. Craig chasing that quarterback dragon, picked up Purdy. Unexciting but solid for single fab. Ford picked up Gerald Everett for 1 fab, and little drafted stash, little sneaky snake. Blaine picked up Keaton Mitchell, could potentially be the guy for the Ravens here in a couple weeks whenever he's off IR. So, all right, let's go ahead here, get into a preview of this week's matchups. I'm going to decide game of the week right now. I really don't know who it's going to be. Savoy's already been in game of the weeks. D-Shade's been in game of the weeks. Nick's been in game of the weeks. Plunk's been in game of the weeks. Craig's been in game of the weeks. And I like to spread the love here. I like to spread the love. Just kidding. It's not going to be that game, right? Man, it's tough. I mean, all these projections are very, very close this week. One part of me would love to do the 2-3-0 teams. That's what it should be on paper. It's not going to be. Another part of me would love to be a toilet matchup, 2 0-3 teams. Not going to be that one either. You know what? Let's do it. It's time. All right, so first matchup here, Shades Dynasty versus Suave Lave, 2 3-0 teams. Savoy is projected to win 125-121. It looks like AJ going to be back. What's the reports on him? Listed as questionable for a 3rd straight week. He's been limited since last Thursday. So he still has yet to return to a full practice. That's a little concerning. Geno against the helpless Giants should be a pretty good matchup for him. Calvin Ridley revenge game against the Falcons. That's certainly exciting. I think this one's going to be a little bit of a close game. I think it is. I think it might be a little bit of an under as well. I think it's a little bit of an under, team under, total under rather, not team, total under. I could see one of these guys struggling to get to 100 points. I could see both these guys maybe barely getting to 100 points. So hold on, Karen's calling. Hey, let me hold on. Let me call you back. I'm doing the video.
That's fine.
All right, bye. That's tough, man. This is a tough one. I'm going to have to go with Savoy, though. I'm going to go with Savoy in that one. Next here, the McCockners versus Cataclysmic Catches. JD's projected to win 115-111. Again, kind of tougher matchups. I think this is going to be a lower scoring week overall for a lot of teams this week. I got that inkling. Wilson's going double tight end. Evan Ingram and Donald Parham. That's JD. We're going with JD. Next here, 2 0-3 teams, both desperate for a win. Desperate. Now, it's happened before. Once in history that a team's gone 0-4 and made the playoffs. Duncan did it just last year. Okay? You don't want to be 0-4 because there's a lot more teams that have gone 0-4 and not done jack shit than have gone 0-4 and made the playoffs. So, huge game. Cannot understate. This is the biggest game, I think, of the season so far of anybody, right? Anybody's ever played. Not the game of the week, but Nick is projected to win 113 to 106. I like Rip's matchups. I think that he easily surpasses 106, to be quite honest with you. As Nick said, hammer that team total Rip over, because teams love to score points against the Razorbacks. And for Nick, looks like maybe he'll get A-Rich back this week. We'll see. He's practicing, should be cleared. He should have Waddle back from concussion as well. I think Nick's going to have a good week. But it's not always about what Nick does. It's about what the other team does. And the other team usually shows up when they've been playing him. So we're going to say that trend continues. We're going to hammer Rip's team total over 106. And we're going to take him money line to pull off the upset against the Razorbacks. Okay. Next here we got Kickers Lives Matter versus Doesn't Contribute. Toss in Tank. Connor, you want me to trade TJ Hawkinson, who's the number 1 tight end on the season, and Tank Dell, who has been emerging as an elite option, for Michael Pittman? And what? I don't even know if I would trade you Hawkinson for Pittman straight up. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. There's my response. I'm not texting you back. You can see my response in the Soto, okay? I need to pick this up. 40 minutes. This is way too long. This is way too long of a video. Duncan. Duncan versus Craig. Duncan wins. Blaine versus Plunk. Go Blaine. Fuck Plunk. I'm just insulted by that. I'm insulted by that you think. This is why I don't trade with you, Connor. This is why the league has a embargo against you and Nick usually, but people have softened on Nick because he's such a nice guy with these trades, because you only do trades that you think are going to benefit yourself, right? And that's what everybody does, right? But it's no, I'm done. Don't talk to me about trades the rest of the year. I don't want any of your players. You're not getting any of mine. That's it. Done. Okay. My team's good. Speaking of my team, game of the week, the Sour Warheads Extreme Sour Hard Candy game of the week. This is the black cherry flavored. You can see that face there. I'm going to be making that face here in just a minute. Naturally and artificially flavored. Warning, eating multiple pieces within a short period may cause a temporary irritation to sensitive tongues and mouths. So be careful if you're a little sensitive guy. It's made in Janesville, Wisconsin. And, it's sour. So, Warhead's the official sour candy of the Bring That Wood Fantasy Football League. Come on. Oh, yeah, my mouth's already, it's watering in anticipation. God damn it. Get out of there. All right. Woohoo! Buddy, feel the room. And it's gone. All right. Horse ass. Father figures. I'm projected to win 124 to 122. Battle of the quarterback. You got Jordan Love on Thursday night versus Tua in Buffalo. Looks like Buffalo's trying to catch their stride a little bit. On defense, it's hard. I hate Love. I don't think he's a good quarterback. Boom, Tua. Battle of the running back, James Conner, Alexander Madison, Kenneth Walker, Brian Robinson, or Bijan Robinson. That one's tough. Talent-wise, it's not even close, right? It's not even close. I got some tough matchups for my two guys this week. We'll give the edge to Ford in that one. Battle of the wide receiver. You got Tyreek Hill, Tutu Atwell, Tank Dell versus George Pickens, Hollywood Brown, and Amari Cooper. And talent wins. Talent wins, right? Two young guys, two small guys. All three of them are quick little small scamps, Love them. They represent me very well. I think my team, or what we stand for, we're going to go horse-ass wide receivers. Battle of the tight end. It's embarrassment of riches, right? Number 1, number 2 tight end on the year. I've got them both, Hawkinson and Laporta. I got Laporta in there just because he's playing on Thursday night versus Darren Waller. Boom, Laporta. Battle of the flex. Right now it's Hawkinson We'll see. Probably will stay. I'm hard-pressed to not play both of these guys the way they've been performing on the season. So, yeah, we're going to go with Hawkinson. And I think it's easy. I think it's easy win for me. I don't think it's going to be an easy win. I don't want to disrespect Ford's team like that. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I like both of our matchups pretty much across the board for both of these teams, for the most part, outside of one or two. I think Ford's going to put up a solid point total. I think it's going to be over 120. I just hope I can match. And hang in there. So, big game for him. You don't want to go 1-3. You certainly do not want to go 1-3. So, anyway, that's all I got this week, fellas. Arkansas playing A&M. Can't wait to see what bullshit we pull out this week to lose that game with the backup quarterback, because A&M's quarterback's out for the year. So, yeah, he's going to have a career day, backup guy. So, anyways, everybody, good luck this week. Stay safe out there. And as always, woo pig.